Think for your fucking self. Hey, it's Marin, and this is the forecast for the lunar eclipse, the full moon in Cancer on January 10th, 2020. So we'll get started looking at what the astrology actually entails for this full moon, for this eclipse culmination, and then we will turn to the tarot, turn to the oracle decks to see what guidance is coming through as themes arise around this eclipse. So as it's a lunar eclipse, the moon will be opposite the sun. So the moon is in Cancer, it's at 20 degrees of Cancer, and it's opposite the south node, Jupiter, the sun, Mercury, Ceres, Saturn, and Pluto in Capricorn. Yeah, there's a lot of fucking Capricorn going on as just an opening preview to what 2020 holds in store. Not that we're not familiar with Capricorn energies at this point, but you know, there's a lot going on. So there's 5 planets, 1 asteroid minor planet with Ceres, and the south node all in Capricorn. There's a huge pileup of energy in that area of our sky. So this is an exact contrast to the solar eclipse, the new moon that happened in July. So if you can think back to any major events going on then, this is probably going to be the opposite extreme, or reversing or inverting those situations or roles. So if there's something that you embarked on in July, this might be the complementary opposite for you to culminate something that began then in a very different way. So like, for example, for me, in July, I was actually in Bali traveling, and I'm not a big traveler. I just don't like leaving my house. So that was more of like a spiritual trip for me, and it was really a time of doing something that I felt called to do and facing the fear of I just don't like the discomfort of traveling. And this January, I definitely am not going anywhere. I will be here, but there will probably be similar themes of like a spiritual journey, culminating, finding a high point, or wrapping up that chapter. So that's a little example of what you can expect. Of course, it depends on the houses activated for you, and if you want to know more about where this eclipse is hitting you, you can watch your January 2020 forecast and your 2020 forecast, which will all be linked below. So in July, we may have been drawing boundaries in a certain area of our life to open up to something new or to begin a new personal project. And by project, this means any sort of theme that you're working on in your life. So now we might be opening up to solidify our boundaries to what we were assembling then, really nailing down what this area of life means to us, that we're niching down what our brand in this area of our life is. The main challenge might be that the Cancer moon has a tendency to look for safety rather than think of rational logistics. So likely we'll be assembling a high point or looking to put ourselves out in the world in a certain vulnerable way here, and we might feel like there's a lack of safety or lack of reception going on there, and we don't need to have everything figured out, but we do need to figure out or be open to figuring out why we feel unsafe within ourselves. A quote that really resonates with this eclipse is, "I am not upset for the reasons I think I am." That really came into my head, not only because I'm reading A Course in Miracles right now, but because there'll be a lot of triggers in this full moon. There will be things coming up because eclipses are unpredictable mass kind of surges of energy going on, and there will be things coming up that seem surface that you can really dig deeper into, because you are not ever upset for the reason that you really think you are. There is always shit underneath that shit that's more important. Not that everything needs to be, we can't say like I'm not worthy of feeling this upset because there's someone else who's more upset, but we do have to be open to integrating ourselves before we blame the outside world. So with the sun there in Capricorn with everything, it really is illuminating all of those Capricorn planets, which are hosted by Saturn in his home sign for the last little stretch of 2020 when it will be culminating its transit through Capricorn. So more than ever, we are invited to tune into how we create our own safety instead of waiting for outside limits or institutions to form those structures in our life. So a lot of people, you know, they play small and they might be slightly cowardly in terms of not figuring out what they believe in, and instead looking for outside institutions or belief systems to bring that founding to them so they have a basis to form their identity around. This lunar eclipse, lunar eclipse, I get them confused all the time even though I know the difference. this lunar eclipse, think of how you can create that for yourself. Don't look to some outside business or thought structure or institution to make the formation for your life upon. We need a matrix to base our thoughts around and our self-concept on, but we don't need to buy into unhealthy institutional matrices around us to just take the work out of our own life for thinking for ourselves. Think for your fucking self. Believing in capitalist patriarchy isn't going to make you feel safe. Trust me. So with the Saturn and Pluto conjunction, it can seem like we're going through the most sobering crisis ever. But if we see endings as a limbo or a gateway rather than a death sentence to our entire lives, we can have more respect for the solemnity around us. We can see every ending as a sacred gateway into something new, because in life, the opposite is not death. The opposite of birth is death, but both are encapsulated in life. And right now we're likely at a high point in some type of personal death in our lives. Also, Mercury is in an applying sextile to Neptune, which is indicating an opportunity to declare your dreams into the practicality. Take your vision and trust that the density is forming around that. And talk with someone who you feel trustworthy enough to uplift you when you feel a bit down right now. Not that you might feel down, but eclipses can kind of suck the energy out of us and use that collective energy into like an atom bomb for the world in that sort of way. So if you do feel yourself kind of being the life sucked out of you or whatnot, trust that that's simply a purging experience of things leaving your body that are ready to leave, so you can step into the gateway of the new, the more efficient, the more grounded. And if you're around someone that you trust as an authority figure to help you uncover that, trust that and open up to them. Mars will be in Sagittarius trine Chiron, which is Mars will be ruled by that Mercury as well. And with Mars trine Chiron, allow yourself to feel the pain body that's triggered. It's a harmonious aspect that often involves a lot of feeling physical viscerality. So use that motivation to integrate the wounded part of yourself more within. Open up to that part of you that feels small, that feels wounded, and provide it with the utmost love instead of yelling at yourself for feeling hurt. We teach best what we most need to know, so act the way you want the world to act towards you, to yourself, and to everyone involved in this project along with you. This is also a culmination for the long haul. This is like a big chapter ending here with the final big eclipse in this Cancer Capricorn axis of the past few years, whirlwind energy. So watch over this next 6 months as what you declare now to fully solidify or release, and this last chapter to end in a way that is a new beginning for the structure of the rest of your life to be built upon. So this is a final high point for the crisis in your life to reach a breaking point of release. Draw a boundary to support your personal flourishing, your healing, and your safety in a way that benefits you in the long term. Choose those long-term repairs over short-term fixes, and trust that though there may be lots of inertia behind a certain pattern of struggle, we are always moving, and you are not stagnant in any situation ever. All we can commit to is the truth that always exists within us of evolving and changing, and never feel like you're leaving someone else behind because you are choosing to commit more to yourself and therefore to source energy that actually connects you more to everything and everyone. So with that out of the way, let's look at what tarot card comes through for this lunation. I'm using actually the first tarot card ever that my friend got me. If you're watching this, you know who you are, like 5 years ago, which it's funny, people say you have to be gifted your first tarot deck, which is bullshit, but I actually was. This is the Marseille Tarot, and I have not used it in years. It's actually been on my shelf just picking up dust because I felt not called to open it since fucking high school. I wonder if this is going to get demonetized because I cuss a lot in my videos. Anyway, let's see what tarot card comes up for us, if I can get one out. So this is so different than what I'm used to looking at in the Rider-Waite, but this is the Two of Wands, and the Two of Wands corresponds to the first decan of Aries. It's Mars ruled. It's energy of being ready to take on the world. So even though eclipses, I never recommend starting something new on an eclipse because the collective energy is much more, it's malefic in a way that it is outside of human control, and often fated or just extreme events can happen on eclipses that you probably don't want ingrained into the promise of a personal project. So with this card, I would say be open to taking what the universe gives you and riding with it as you close up the old patterns. So with that out of the way, let's look at what Work Your Light Oracle deck card, which is my favorite Oracle deck ever, comes through for this lunation as well. We have, don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? Don't fucking worry about filling a certain role or taking a certain spot here being received. This is your time to experiment with what is coming your way for you to step into as you outgrow this old shit that is frankly long overdue for each of us to get over. And finally, we will pull a Law of Attraction card to see what attraction guidance we can be offered for this lunation. Every morning for 30 days, I will intentionally intend. If every morning for the next 30 days you begin your day by saying, I intend to see, I expect to see, no matter who I am with, no matter where I am, no matter what I am doing, I intend to see that which I want to see, you will change the momentum of your life experience. So this is a wake-up call to let go of whatever fear of limitation you are entertaining and instead reorient your mind towards attraction in general and opening up into that new paradigm of long-term foundational structures that can carry you safely, no matter what your past self of conditioning has convinced you, because you create here and now. So with that being said, I hope this was helpful. If you did find it helpful, like, subscribe, hit post notes, do all the things, share this. If you do like this, check out my private consultations down below. Check out my other videos, and I will see you in the next one.